Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crits and Shits, which is our post-game podcast where we just generally will be shooting the shit and talking about all things RPGs and the game that we just played in. I'm Rob Buckley, and I'm joined by my very good friend, Chex Chekhov.
Evening, folks.
And so I just run a one-shot, which Chex was a player in, and it was probably the silliest one-shot I've ever run, but I think it was really, really good fun, and I really enjoyed it. So what did you actually think of the main idea? Well, I guess I should really explain the main idea behind it first. So
Yeah.
last night while I was just getting into bed after playing a horror-based game, I had this idea, and I don't know where it came from. It was just like, there. And it was it was that I was going to get a roll table and make the party basically have been abducted by a mad scientist, and at the start of the game they would all roll on this roll table, and it would basically mean that whatever they rolled would be a monster, and the monster that they rolled they would have, you know, some of the abilities of and some of the effects of. So like they could have rolled, you know, a beholder. They could roll all sorts. Shall I share my screen and actually show you the table?
That's probably a good idea if you have it up there.
Yeah. So here you can see it. So I have. I'll zoom out here slightly. So here you can see all of the tables, and then obviously if they rolled elemental, I would make them roll d4 to figure out which elemental. Same with dragons. So, you know, if they rolled like a kraken, they would get tentacles, and then the tentacles would be able to do this. But it was just this kind of, I told the players it was going to be like a fairly kind of, you know, silly sort of, it basically, I had a stupid idea, and you can't run a serious game with a stupid idea. And so the idea was that it would just kind of be a relaxed.
I would disagree with you can't run a game out with a silly idea. I think you can, but
Should you?
hell yeah, if you think you can pull it off.
Like, I mean, I guess you could have made that serious and, you know, made the party all, you know, role play them getting upset because they had tentacles for arms. But at the end of the day, it was just meant to be one of those ones that was like, you know, let's just.
No, I get what you mean. I'm just taking the piss.
All right. Well,
quite frankly, yeah, the idea behind it really makes the because none of us knew what we were going into. That was a great thing. Yeah, roll up a 7-level character.
Yeah. I think that the only premise I put was you've been abducted by a mad scientist.
Yeah. So, and weirdly, the way it worked out is no one had actually posted any character concepts beforehand, so no one knew what anyone else was playing until they turned up. Which actually didn't work out too bad because we've all got our own types. Thankfully, they all work out to be roughly the generic party type.
Yeah, it wasn't like a party of fighters or whatever.
Yeah.
I think everyone was playing, you know, their own class. But yeah, I think the game went really well. We had to cut it short because people had to get away. So, well, it wasn't cut short. It was just the end was sped up a bit. We had literally 3 hours to get it done in, so it had to go quite quickly. But I think it went really well in the end.
This adventure is up on YouTube. You are putting it up.
It is up now, yeah. So if you're watching this, then you're probably on my YouTube channel, which means the video just before this one will be the game we're talking about. So go watch that one before you watch this one, I guess.
Or you're possibly on my YouTube channel, which I'll probably take this video off and put it on mine as well because.
Yep.
Okay, it splits the views, but you know what? Double the audience.
There are people who can watch. Yeah. So, firstly, I want to get your opinion on a couple of things. What did you think of the actual overall idea? Like the rolling, and you guys have all been injected with some weird thing that makes you monster. Like how did you? Because the thing I was worried about with it is that no one would use it and people would just, oh, this doesn't do as much damage as my normal attack. But I think everyone kind of took to it really well. But what did you think about it overall, like as a session, as a game?
It's a funny one. Certainly, that when you call for the initial roll of flat d20, I knew exactly what was going on because let's not kid ourselves. It's been done before, but I haven't seen it done in the OSG, to my knowledge, at least in my time of being in the group. And I'm sure the OSG doesn't mind getting a mention here. If you're not a member, look it up on Facebook. We might even put the link below as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the tabletop RPG one-shot group.
Yeah.
If you're here and you haven't seen the RPG one-shot group, don't know how you got here. Because the only way I really get views is by putting my videos in the one-shot group.
It's my clearly sexual magnetism that brought them here.
I think it might be.
Clearly what it is. But no, I enjoy those kind of games where you subvert the norm.
Yeah.
And I find it very, because it's always I know I did it not too long ago. You start in a tavern, and that's where I based my games, because that was the classic. Trying to see how far you could go with starting in the tavern kind of thing. So when you subvert the norm, it gives a player a chance to actually be surprised.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting to.
And on that note, none of us were even close to death in that game.
No, I think the closest it got to was actually no, Robin died, didn't he?
No, Gorstag.
Oh no, Gorstag died.
Gorstag got knocked unconscious. He didn't actually die; he just got unconscious.
Did he not die? I thought he died in the Orc Tiug fight. I thought he hit 0, but then Lucius had his like aura of not dying thing. I seem to remember that he being like, "Oh, I'm Gorstag is dead," and then Lucius was like, "Well, not really."
Surely not. He was a barbarian. There's no way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. But he forgot to use his hit die, so he was just coming into the fight with like a third of his health or whatever.
Okay.
So he just went down in like 3 hits.
I genuinely don't remember that.
Maybe blacked out.
It's not.
Yeah. I think it was like a conversation for like 20 seconds, and it was like, all right, bad luck, move on, kind of thing.
I know. I did bugger off for maybe during the fight for about 10 seconds to
you might have missed
out things.
Yeah.
No, I generally don't remember that.
All right. Yeah, but so yeah, essentially, he wouldn't have died had he remembered to do his hit points. But yeah, it wasn't. It was meant to be hard, and I think the Otiug or the Orc Tiug overall was meant to be harder. So I guess we should talk about the monsters. So there were three fights. I generally try and do 3-ish combat encounters in a night. I feel like that kind of usually ends quite well just past the 3-hour mark. The first one, the players had kind of gotten used to their powers and stuff, which took up a good half an hour of sort of chatting and role playing stuff. And then they went out into the room or the next room, where there was like a giant pile of like it looked like massive thick snakes that were kind of piled in, and then a lizard body at the end. So the players were like, oh, it's a hydra, but they'd just seen a sign that said hydroblin, so they were like, what? And then there was a goblin that kind of climbed over the top, and one of the players attacked it, or his familiar attacked it, and it turned out that it was a hydra, but instead of heads, it had goblin torsos that were like sentient and screaming and had butcher's cleavers and were like charging and attacking them. It was dumb, but I mean the thinking behind that was that the scientists is doing experiments and stuff. And no one ended up cutting off any of the heads of it. But if they had, a whole new goblin would have spawned with a new butcher's cleaver, like out of the head.
That fight did go very strangely though.
Yeah, because I think it was an oversight on my part, but Lucius, the warlock, he rolled cockatrice on the monster table. And the problem with that was that I was like, well, I can't just give him wings. I have to give him one of their attacks. And the attack I chose to give him, or the only attack it has, I think, I can't remember. But basically, he got the petrification thing. And so he just did like one bite on this thing. Like, it fought for like 3 rounds. And then he just did one bite on this thing. And it went stone solid. And it failed both of its saving throws. And was just like, well, the fight's over and it has over 100 hit points, but that sucks. And then it was like, well, and originally I'd only planned for 2 encounters, I think, because I wanted this one to go long, but I was like, well, shit, they did that one in like 15 minutes. So you moved on into the room with Dr.
Don't forget about Gorstag's German suplex on the...
Oh, right. So,
I'm confused about
the physics.
Yes, exactly. How the hell did he manage to?
So basically, one of the players was playing a barbarian with Tavern Brawler and Grappler feats. So he was basically a wrestler. And so the whole time he was just describing his actions in wrestling moves, which was awesome. It was hilarious. But the first one was like
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, and it was Stone Cold Stunner. But he was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and suplex it while it was like halfway through being petrified. And it was, and the monster rolled a 1 on its like grapple check against him. So I was like, you know what? Because it rolled a 1 and because you rolled like a 24 or something, you can just go ahead and describe whatever you want, kind of thing. And he was like, well. I grabbed one of its heads and I suplexed the whole thing over me. And it was just like so dumb, but so awesome. And then it froze solid and it was hilarious. And then here's the part where I had to completely, what's it called? I had to completely improv this bit. It was they went to the next room and originally you guys... I was going to basically have forced you, with the use of the Hydra, to go into the cave with the Otyug, or the Ortyugs. But first you ended up going, because you just, killed the Hydra super easy. You went into the actual main lab area, where Dr. Sphinxix Talix or something. I can't remember the name. It had too many X's. But he was the bad guy who'd done all the science stuff on you. Wait, I have his name here actually.
It's on it was on the event page, but I can't remember it.
Sprix Calclix was his name, more commonly known as the Fiend. But he
it's really bad.
Yeah, that was creepy.
I'm sorry.
You guys fought him. And he was not meant to be a combat encounter. It was meant to be more like a role-playing encounter where you guys just like cut him open, or like debate whether or not you should kill him or something. And I was like, oh shit, I need another fight. He attacks, kind of thing. And I just this is one thing I do a lot. Is I do a lot of improv when I DM.
You have to.
Yeah. And what I did was I opened the monster manual. I was just flicking through, like, while you guys were like describing how you entered the room, where you were like, "Do we enter? And they were deciding the order and stuff. I was flicking through the monster manual to find someone with level stats and that kind of thing that I wanted you guys to fight that was good. And I was like, perfect. And he had the stats and attacks and everything of a mind flayer, except he had like double the health. But all the attacks and stuff he was doing was just reskinned Mind Flayer stuff. And yeah, but you guys handed him his ass. I think he injected Gorstag. Gorstag had had a shit time. He injected Gorstag with the serum that like knocks you out. And Gorstag just went unconscious, and then I think you just like came in and just destroyed his head.
Yeah, well, I had an action surge to use up at that particular time, which was 40 odd damage on the die. Well, 40 odd damage overall, which was just enough to finish him off. Because there was quite a good load of damage done. Because 4 Scorching Rays, 2 Eldritch Blasts, Gorstag's DDT.
Yeah, Gorstag was like, I'm going to DDT him, but he didn't pass on his roll, or he didn't do well enough, so he instead just like jumping clotheslined him, and then did a 5-star frog splash off the table.
Yeah. But of course, with 7 level characters, I mean, you're talking about a warlock that it's obviously going to have Agonize and Blast.
Yeah.
Because if you're a warlock and you don't take Agonize and Blast, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Because honestly, if you can add your modifier to your attack, yeah. Joseph's cleric was doing the Scorching Ray, and I can't remember what it is. It allows him to do there's a bonus on Scorching Ray for maybe dipped into Warlock. There's something. Maybe I'm thinking of a different
Sorcerer, was it? He was like twinning it or something. I can't remember, but he got to shoot like 5 rays.
Yeah, and
all at advantage, all doing like 2d8. It was like
yeah, and then in comes Groff with 4 attacks and 3 of them hit with his superiority dice on top.
Yeah,
and I think his superiority dice actually dropped him.
Yeah, I think it was that. It was fairly close to Groff not getting the kill.
Oh no, Groff got the kill in the end.
But it was like close to him not getting it.
Because I finally got to use my because I'd been saving up. Thought, well, if this is going to be a fun game, I'm going to use all my Scottish stuff in this. Because in case you haven't been able to figure it out, I'm a Scotsman.
Yeah, I remember the what was it, the fucker rolling donut or something?
Yeah, go and take a run at. Go and take a running fucking. I can't even say it because I'm almost close to laughing. Go and take a running fuck at a rolling donut.
Yeah.
Which is almost as good as tuck your trousers into your socks and go and fight yourself.
You always fucking say that. But yeah, so you guys beat him up, killed him. I think the warlock did speak with the dead, and just got some information and was like, and the information was basically, yes, there's bigger things, and yes, they're going to eat you. And then there was another bloke, and he had the same serum as you, and we spent about 20 minutes with the cleric of like fire or whatever, saying that he was just going to like burn this guy alive to save him. He's like, do you want to escape? He's like, yes. He's like, right, I'm going to burn you. And then he burned him, and then the warlock cast Spare with Dying, and they ended up burning him again, and then the warlock cast Spare with Dying.
The funny thing about it was every time you cast Spare with Dying, you get healing on it.
Yeah, he was like, I'm only doing it for the healing.
Yeah. But the great thing about that was you improved when Robin did his 5 questions.
Yeah.
That was an improv. I could tell that was an improv. And
yeah, what? Because I was pulling shit out my arse.
Well, no. From one DM to another, you kind of, you know.
Yeah, you can always tell.
You did it really well.
Cheers.
There was not a lot of hum and hawn and 2 minutes before I'll give you an answer.
Well, that's because my improv technique is I talk and then I think what I was going to say. So I just I was like, yes, there are more things. What actually? Oh, yeah. And then, so I kind of continue the thought on my head. It's not a good practice, but it sometimes.
Actually, no, it is a good practice. That's probably the best advice you can give someone who is trying to do any sort of improv. Fall off what they're trying to come up with while they're coming up with it. Because sitting just going, yeah,
I need to write some stuff down.
Yeah, it takes out of it. I mean, the only other advice that you can be given is, okay, guys, I need a bathroom break. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is a handy one and can be pulled out at any time, because
Yeah.
no one is ever going to say, "Wait, what?" So
Yeah, because either, they're like, oh, he needs a bathroom break, or they're like, right, but they know he's like, right, he needs to write some stuff. It's going to enrich my gaming experience if I just like leave it for a sec. Um,
I find most folk don't even think about it that way. I find
yeah,
most
yeah,
folk.
yeah.
I mean, I know that trick, and I still fall for it.
Yeah,
And
no,
you know, seeing what people come back with is amazing as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so we'll just finish off this little run through of the game we're doing before we get into actually seeing how it went. So you spoke to the guy. You spent about 20 minutes telling him you were going to kill him and then save him and then kill him and then save him and then save him by killing him. And then you went off and you found a sign for an orc tiug, which is really hard to say, but it was an otiug with an orc strapped to the top, basically, like torso upwards. And that was the fight that was kind of rushed. It was only meant to be one huge one, but instead I made it two smaller ones so you could kill it quicker and, kill one and then kill the other. Although one of the players didn't realize there was two until like 90. He's like, okay, I was like, describe how you kill it. He's like, oh yeah, I do this and it's awesome. And I was like, awesome. All right, the other one attacks. He's like, wait, what? There's two.
Yeah, you very clearly said there was two of them.
I don't know. I think
I don't know.
he was
Maybe
like dropping out. I'm not sure, but yeah, and that was it really. You killed the orc tigs and then you escaped, and you finally killed the guy you found in the cell. But yeah,
there was no overall resolution, but it was still a fun one shot. And even without a complete resolution, you can still. 3 hours of having fun is better than sitting twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I was looking at the clock and I was like, shit, we have 2 minutes before he needs to be away.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for the fact that he had to be away at that specific time, we could probably ran for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I had planned what was happening after. So you guys beat the Otiug and you went out, and you had to go, or you would have gone and like found the town guard and told them of what happened. And I was thinking, if all this takes no time at all, I had a contingency which would be like, one of you accidentally shows off your powers or whatever, and the town guard's like, "What the fuck? These guys are monsters!" and attack you, and then you guys gonna have to defend it. Yeah.
That's all I could think about when the Mind Flayer was doing his stuff.
Yeah, so one guy rolled Mind Flayer, so he was like tentacle beard. So
I love doing that sound effect. I'm going to be right back. I need to use the little boys' room.
Or you need to rewrite some stuff. Who knows? I'm just going to keep talking because I don't need to.
You do that.
So,
I haven't written anything in ages, and that's going to be fun come the next one shot.
So, while he's away, I guess I'll talk about some of the things that were going through my mind as I was DMing. Which, I mean, the initial thing I was worried about was, okay, what I need to make these abilities good enough where the players will use them more than, or use them, a lot. Like, I wanted them to be like, oh, I've got tentacles for arms now. I'm going to fucking hit shit with my tentacles. I wanted that to happen. And people, like, I wanted them to be like, oh, this is fucking awesome. But I didn't want them to be like, ridiculous. So it was making them all do like a standard amount of damage that was a little bit more, and that kind of thing. And I think it worked really well in the end. I'm doing an accounting degree, so I'm quite sort of good at all the numbers and the figures. And so I think I although it's by no means the most important thing and all that kind of thing, the numbers and everything is something that I think I figured out really well, and that made the whole session make sense because they weren't just like one-shotting the giant Hydra monster, but they were everyone used their powers a lot. I think the best thing was like the cleric or paladin. I think he was a paladin. I can't remember, but he was like I think he worshipped a fire god because he was just always going on about fire. Hello, and he got the I think he got a gorgon, which I made breathe fire. So he got a fire breathing thing, and he was just like, "Oh, perfect! It's a gift from my god," kind of thing. So I think that the actual monsters people got worked really well. I think one thing we forgot to talk about, Chex, was that this was a completely improv bit as well, which wasn't that heavy improv or anything. But when you guys were in the room, I was like, "Oh, I just had a great idea. I'm going to give them more of the serums." Like that was a. I think if you watch it, I'd be like, I was sitting there like this, and I was like, yeah. So you talk to the guy, and I was like, my eyes just like, guys, make an investigation check, and I was like, you're like 13. I was like, good enough. So I gave them like another like 6 of the potions, which turn them into monsters, and they were all like, yeah, I use them. The only guy who didn't was the cleric, but everyone else got like 2 more mutations or whatever. So I think you ended up as like a Durgar
Yeah,
Kraken. You were originally a Kraken, then you got Durgar, then you got what was it?
No, that was it.
You only had 2. I think the barbarian had 4. He was what was he? Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer. Oh crap! What was it now? It was Lucius. It was a gelatinous cube, cockatrice, and Manticore. I want to say.
So his strategy was fly above things and then turn into a gelatinous cube and drop on them.
What?
Oh, he was the barbarian was a
Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer Beholder.
Oh yes, Beholder.
He got the eye wraith, the eye thing. Wraith, I think he was with the life drain thingy, and the other one, I can't remember what. That's cool. Oh, he might be. Was he? No. Displacer Beast. That was it.
Oh yes.
But yeah, he was just like. He just wanted all the different powers. But that bit, I was just like, oh, that's such a good idea. I'm doing it, kind of thing, without even really, having pre-planned that. And I think it was really, really funny. And I knew we only had 1 fight left, so I was like, oh, fuck it, just give them, something for a bit of fun. But yeah, I think it went, as well as I could have hoped throughout the whole thing.
One of the things I would say, just in a general, what's the word I'm looking for?
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose it is constructive. It's not really a criticism.
Go on, I can take it.
You're going to have to, because I'm going to tell you at some point anyway. So,
At some point.
You've been hanging about with me long enough that your skin should be fairly thick by this point.
Oh, my skin's always been thick.
You're like a rhino. Jesus Christ.
Just fucking say it, Jeff.
The only thing I can say is you give us all those powers, but not enough to use them on.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I've maybe put, instead of the Ortog thing up against us, I would have maybe pulled out something along the lines of, I don't know. I want to say Tarask off the top of my head, but that's not going to happen.
Like a dragon of some kind. Maybe.
Yeah, something just. Well, it's possible to beat something well above the CR level. 5E's iffy when it comes to that kind of stuff, but it's possible to beat something that you shouldn't be able to beat.
Yeah.
If you'd put someone in front of us that had taken us down or had taken out one of the party, that kind of stuff would have come into play. And that's the only constructive criticism I've got.
Yeah, I agree with
Wow.
you. I think it was a kind of I was kind of like a child in a sweet shop. I was, like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to give them all the powers. But yeah, in the end, like, and because we had to rush the last fight and all that kind of thing, there's a number of excuses. But yeah, I do agree with you. If I was to, I'm thinking of turning this into an adventure module. If I do, I will make the last fight a bit more epic, I think, because all the players should have, got all these ridiculous powers by now, and they need a chance to use them. I think that's a very astute point, Chekhov. But yeah, so what do you think? Because this is something that I was thinking about is what was going through your mind when the whole thing had happened and you were like, right, I have tentacles for arms now. Like, what was going through your mind as not as Chex, but what were you thinking? Right, this is how I should roleplay it as. Like how would you?
Oh, in terms of growth, just
Yeah, like
and this happening to him. But the thing is, I brought a character to the table that I roleplay with a lot, and I roleplay with him in silly ways. I am in a campaign with him at the moment. You saw him in a few one shots. I kept the character and continued him on, and I play him as a stereotypical dwarf, but I play him as an over-exaggerated stereotypical dwarf. It makes sense that he has two reactions: "Holy fuck, what's going on?" and "I hit it." He's not.
But,
it's silly and it's stereotypical, as I say, but
it's fun.
well, it's everyone. Everyone remembers the stereotypical races that we all grew up with playing D&D. Elves are, and it's not even D&D. All the way back to Tolkien. We follow the Tolkien guidelines when it comes to D&D, and we still do it to this day. And in homebrew settings and things, we break away from it. But our generic idea goes back to Tolkien.
Yeah.
And I like to exaggerate those ideas.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that if anybody watches the game, the chances of them understanding my Scottish accent more than it is right now is probably nil.
But I mean, that's just great character, development. It's just you sound like an actual dwarf.
I look like one as well.
Yeah. To be fair, if you were just a wee bit shorter and a wee bit fatter, or not even fatter, just wider in general.
Yeah, it's not the shortness. I'm only 5'8". It's I've had the stoutness. Unfortunately, I just drink stout.
Which is again another goblin trait.
Goblin?
Yeah.
The fuck did you just say to me? Axe to the face.
Yeah. No, but I think it's really hard to like role play, terror. Like if you imagine suddenly you woke up and your arms were actually tentacles, like you as a person, you would be shitting yourself. But it's really hard to do that in a game without
I woke up that way, but I know I took something the night before.
Wow. No, but like it's really hard to like give yourself a or role play like.
Well, everybody wants to.
Fear.
Everybody wants to roleplay themselves as the. I didn't do it this game because I knew it was a jokey game.
Yeah.
I think I probably knew it more than anybody else that was playing, to be honest, because we chat offline a lot.
We basically do, like if I do a 4-hour session, we'll probably do like a 4-hour chat just afterwards about fucking anything.
Yeah, just shoot the shit. I mean, well, offline, the two of us shoot the shit about things that we could do, and here I've got this idea for this setting, or how about I throw this monster in? I've got this game coming, whatever it may be. So I think I was a little bit more clued in that way, but nonetheless, I knew it was a jokey setting. But exactly as you say, how would you roleplay someone who has just realised their arms are tentacles?
Exactly.
Well, I know what I would do, and it's exactly what Groff would do. He screamed high pitched and fell on his arse.
Honestly, though, I think you'd be like, "Oh shit! I must have smoked something. I'll go back to sleep and see if it's still like this tomorrow."
Yeah, well, that's probably exactly what I would do.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna lie.
but yeah, I mean, so I think, and also, you know, if we were to do that, you guys would probably have like sat there for half an hour just like pretend crying, which doesn't sound like a fun half hour to me.
But,
so I think,
but the opposite side of the dice is everyone's so stoic about what happens to them.
oh yeah,
Well, I am the Lord of yada 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 yada. Yada.
yeah,
I can overcome anything.
yeah.
Well, that's a trait to have. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but this falls in with the weirdness of people that roleplay their stats.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's fair to roleplay your stats. In terms of, if you know you're strong, you know you're strong. I mean, I've never met anyone in real life that doesn't know. Well, yes, I have actually. I've met people who don't know their own strength, but you know what I mean. But I've met people, especially met people that don't realise how intelligent they are. So they might actually have a minus on things, but their minuses are in proficiencies when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
But none of those proficiencies are common sense.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to remember when you're trying to roleplay someone who has minuses in wisdom and intelligence. Common sense isn't factored in there whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, I have a minus in intelligence, I'm dumb. No, you're not. It just means that you're not as learned.
Yeah. But I think the thing is, the way I generally roleplay is I think of a character concept first, like, right, I want to play a guy who acts like this, whatever, and then, you know, I'll make the stats reflect that, but I won't, you know, shit, he's really bad at, you know, persuasion, so I'm going to make him, whenever he tries to persuade someone, inconvincing. No, because, you know, sometimes he might do, you know, a really good job by chance, sort of thing, you know. You might accidentally say something really awesome or whatever.
Yeah. Just when you say that, I have to bring up the fact that you're lucky I did not bring my monk to the game tonight.
Why is that?
Hideo Kazi. Terrible wind.
Oh God, that guy. Oh, this is Chex's character who is a monk whose every ability is fueled by flatulence. Oh wow, yeah. To be honest, it would have been hilarious if you did bring him. Is he a dwarf?
No, he's a human, but he's not really a monk. He's a sumo wrestler. Which is weird because he's obviously his stats are all dex and very little strength. So it's really weird, but yeah, he's supposed to be a sumo. I'm still working on it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you could just make him like. You could just like make him a monk, but take like grappler and I guess tavern brawler, and just have that like 1-2 punch combo.
Yeah, he's a kind of mix between Eddie Honda and I can't remember that. What was the French guy's name that did all the farting?
Oh,
a Perimon.
Is he the bloke that farted the American national anthem?
Well before that, he was the original one.
All right.
that doesn't matter. But yeah, it's the same idea essentially.
Yeah, that would be funny. But I can only imagine what he would do with tentacle arms.
Imagine, imagine dropping a couple of levels into Bard. Yeah, I've got a musical instrument.
Play that.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, I think the game as a whole went really, really well. And I think the players all kind of took to it sort of as well as I could have hoped. And I think I really kind of, I think, yeah, I do think you were right about the having a bit more of an epic final fight. But I think, it was still a few couple hours of just silliness and fun. What would you think? What did you think about the bad guy? Because I was doing a slightly offensive German accent for him. So what did you think about the bad guy in it? The Doctor Fricks Calfix or whatever.
I like the stereotypicalness of that because it takes me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
In the 80s, that was what your buddies were. Well, we've all seen Indiana Jones. It's that kind of thing. Or Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And yeah, that's... So yeah, that's why we pissed ourselves when joking about the Castle Wolfenstein reference that anybody watching it wouldn't have seen because he put it in chat, and that's why we all buckled at one particular point.
Just randomly started laughing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a game I've played since I want to say I don't want to get the timeline wrong, but I must have been about 12. At least when I played that game originally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an old ass game.
Yeah.
But it was a new one. I haven't played it. But from what I believe, it follows on from the original.
Yeah, I have the New Order, but I don't have the.
Is that not the new one?
I know. I think there's a newer one that's like the Old Blood. I think it is.
Right.
I haven't played that.
Yeah, but it's the. I've just seen this one Aboleth in your picture.
There's fucking Aboleth, Beholder.
Yeah.
Wait a sec, Aboleth. Where's the Aboleth?
Oh no, it's Beholder. Sorry.
Oh right.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean to say.
Next to the Mind Flayer and the bloke drink. He's actually drinking ale. If you look closely, he's drinking.
Oh yeah, so he is. Fucking hell.
It's a good picture.
There's a turkey leg up near. Yeah, it's quite that. That's an interesting tavern brawl.
Yeah.
Someone's got a Gatling gun as well, strangely.
Yeah, high fantasy. And there's, two women or whatever, and both of them are wearing literally nothing. So, classic fantasy drawing.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that subject of how people find that offensive.
Yeah. But do you think we should cut it off here? It's a good punchy half hour, and we'll just end up rambling about offensive shit.
I'm not going to ramble about offensive shit. I'm just talking. You blame this on me. How dare you?
I said we. I insinuated you, but I said we.
Yeah, but what he means, people, is the royal I, as in him. No, it's. I was going to say something, but it's completely fucking thrown me in the air.
Oh,
what we're talking? Yeah, you're bad guy. No, the bad guy made sense. Does it make it offense to anybody? I don't think so, because
no, it wasn't meant to be offensive. It was just kind of he was meant to be this kind of mad scientist. I'd always just envisioned him with a German accent, and it was one of those kind of high pitched. I don't know. That was just kind of my thinking.
I see you've come to foil my plans.
That might be the worst German accent I've ever heard.
You think I'd be able to speak better German, considering my neighbour was German, but nah.
I have a GCSE in German, and that's as far as
See
my
Madonna
German.
with the big boobies?
Oh man,
Good morning.
this is what I'm talking about.
What? No, that's from an old show.
I know, but
I just only because anybody that watches this, half of them are going to get the joke. Half of them I've never seen Hello Hello.
yeah, you're just like a weird rambling Scotsman.
The Madonna with the big boobies.
Shut up.
So, what is next with the? Because you've got Svalheim coming up on Saturday.
Yeah. So
Saturday morning. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Like morning, like 1 a.m. morning.
1 a.m. for us, but
Yeah.
for everyone else is
So
Friday
nighttime. I was like, I'm not getting up to play. Yeah. So correct you if you're wrong.
Which I am, always.
Okay. You said correct me if I'm wrong, and then I interrupted you.
No, I finished.
I was.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That it's 1 a.m. our time.
Oh right. I think so. I'll check.
In terms of BST or
UTC +1.
Yeah, that time zones confuse the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. I don't have the brain for numbers, which is hilarious considering I play D&D.
Yeah. My computer's been slow as shit.
But you have got a full game for that, yeah?
I think so. I haven't selected like final players, but I know I've got like at least 4 or 5 people interested.
Is it the same as last time? Like Joe, Justin?
It's not all the same, I don't think.
I haven't looked at the event page, so I'm not entirely sure of myself.
Yeah, I'm trying to fucking. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we got the Svalheim game coming up, and then I'm going home to my parents' house for the summer, which really fucking limits my gaming time, which is annoying. Because obviously, when I'm in my own house, I can stay up and be as loud as I want until 6 a.m. But I can't play in any like uber long games for the whole fucking summer. Which is really shit. So all my games are going to have to like start at 11 and finish at 2.
That's not too bad. You'll still get the core group of people that tend to play in the OSG.
Yeah, I think I've always kind of had. I've always kind of had like a few people that I game with. Like it's generally you. Here we go. Yeah, it's generally you, and Dan and people like that. But and Robin. But recently,
yeah, we're running similar circles.
Yeah, but recently I've been playing with Justin, the Josephs, and
Joseph A and Joseph B.
Yeah, and both of those guys, or all 3 of those guys, sorry, are among some of my favorite players. So I've got like a group of like 10 people who I just will game with always and just love playing with them. I mean, it's set for 12 a.m. on Saturday our time.
Is it?
Yeah, or on my end it is. I don't know.
Oh, you said that it's your game. You set it up.
Yeah.
I've got it set in my calendar as 1 for some reason. Maybe I'm getting mistaken with a different game, but okay, I'll double check that.
Yeah. So far for this game, I've got the only people who said they're going are you and Joseph, or Joe, not Joseph, and then there's Robin, who said a maybe, and then Tony, Justin, Garth, and Zach said they can't come. Corey my friend who I do a different podcast with, I think he should be. He will probably come, hopefully.
I'm interested to play with him because he was supposed to turn up for the last one, but he couldn't make it, and
he
I
got.
don't think I've ever gamed with him before. I don't
He's
think so.
he's a good player.
I've seen a couple of his
He
YouTube videos.
yeah he has a YouTube channel, Chaotic Neutral Gaming. And he's got loads of shit. Like he in the next couple of months, he's just gonna have this like insane release thing where he's doing, he's going to his game store and like cornering people and making them do random encounters and shit like that. Which is gonna be a blast. But he has real problem finding time to work because he works at night,
Right.
and then so. Like he'll get back from work at like 5 a.m. or something, his time. So he can only like game on certain Saturdays, kind of thing. Which I think that's why I put it on Saturdays, because there was a couple of people like, I'm only free on Saturdays. So I was like, well, if a couple of people want to join in, but no, I think he's good. The other podcast with him, the videos are up on my YouTube for you to listen to, but we're also on iTunes. And yeah, he's just like he's a good player. So hopefully he can come along. But yeah, I think yeah. So what do you think about because the game took place in like a whole, the whole thing was a dungeon. Just out of interest, if you were gonna turn this game into a campaign, this is something I think about with a lot of my one shots. Is all right. If I was to turn this into a campaign, what's next? What would you have done if you took over DMing this stupid game as a if you took it over as a campaign?
As a campaign, well, the Dr. Fritz is not the main guy, obviously. He is subservient to some secret group, maybe. He is someone who is working for a group that has ambitions, maybe. Maybe what their ambitions are up to interpretations, but I believe the way you worded it in there one sort was species, but that doesn't really honestly make sense because we're all. In fact, I think 3 of us were human, but 1 of us was a dwarf. Which Scottish accent? Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, yeah, he's the chemist that's there. But there's other ones out there doing plying their own trade.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of come up with bad guys that now. What I like to do lately is I don't make bad guys as reskin versions of the monster manual. I'll actually make a player character in terms of how I would make a character.
Yeah, I make these little like mini character sheet cards for my RPGs that are double sided. I just use them because then I can have like loads of them on hand, and I'll usually make a villain one of those.
Well, that's it. It's what I did with the Ravenbrand, the game. You came up against a warlock and an Oathbreaker paladin, essentially, which is what they were. You took them down fairly easily.
I remember I died, or was knocked unconscious.
But it was not a very difficult encounter, but they were about 4 levels above you. But it was 4 against 2.
Yeah.
Which 5Es again.
The numbers, the number of PTs is huge.
And again, if you're, I know the people I play with don't min max. They go out to play a character, and it just so happens that the character they want to play tends to do a shit ton of damage sometimes.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's because I love rogues, and rogues do a shit ton of damage.
Well,
Uh,
that one shot was very fun because people brought really strange characters to the table. You had that dwarf. You were a warlock.
Rogue. I was
Rogue.
Warlock Rogue, which was insane because I got that like free invisibility thing if it was
Yeah.
not. So I was like invisible, automatically kill you, like just done. 7 million damage.
Exactly. You took one bad guy straight away.
Yeah,
Which actually did a hell of a lot of good to your party because that guy did a hell of a lot of damage.
yeah. And the other
He was easily killed, but he did a lot of damage. Justin's character though, some dwarf warlock / something fighter.
packed to the blade Warlock, yeah. No, he was just a straight Warlock, but I think he was packed to the blade.
No, he wasn't a straight warlock. Was he?
Yeah, I feel like he was.
The funny thing is, it's really hard to tell when people skin things sometimes because I didn't tell anybody in your last Valheim game that I was a ranger / cleric.
Yeah, I think I knew that because of your post, but it didn't really come across very well. But you were like healing and yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Can I just say?
Give my way.
So my Svalheim games are ancient Norse based and kind of low magic. Really sort of, I love the setting. It's my favorite setting we've ever created. But I got to say, your character in that game was fucking awesome. I really really liked him. And Ranger Cleric is actually a seriously cool combo. Like the guy I played in your Ravenbrand game was Warlock Rogue because I came up with the story. Then I came up with him as he was a hired assassin, and then he expended his usefulness, was beaten up, and then left to die. But something came and found him, and was like, I'll bring you back to life and give you more power and stuff if you serve me, type deal. And then he's Warlock Rogue.
Well, anybody that listens is probably a little bit weird, but we've both got separate settings. Mine's is the Raven brand. Rob's is the East brand. They sound similar because they've got the
I might
brand.
have stolen the brand.
Yeah, you stole the brand. like you stole XSplit from me, you fucker.
Well, the reason why I stole the brand thing was like, or I was like, okay, I know I wanted to have is in it because it's like Norwegian for ice and it's a snowy place, and I was like, awesome. But what do I call it? I was like, East Bite? No, that's just no. And I was thinking, and then I was like, you know what? My original thought was like, they would get, like when you burn yourself on something cold, something so cold you like touch it. And
Yes. Oh yes.
I was thinking like they get like a brand of that on their neck or something, which is like their identifying thing. So it's like a cold brand instead. So I was like, and then I made it, set up the game, and I was like, fuck, he called it Ravenbrand. So I just copied his name.
It doesn't really make any difference anyway, because the two settings are different. My inspiration draws from I would go more Witcher. Your inspiration is Norse. You're more monster huntery. Mine is more bounty huntery.
Yeah, I think that's the main difference. Is your like faction kind of thing. Is the Ravenbrand is people who like, I guess the way I would describe them as a player would be bounty hunters and sort of mercenaries, but honorable ones. Whereas the East brand is like a group of monster hunters who go out and hunt monsters for money.
One of the things that came through from your Valheim game compared to my Raven brand game, I enjoyed my Raven brand game, but playing your Valheim game at the East brand, the backstory you put into it blew me out the water.
In terms of during the game?
In terms of during the game, and just the general work you put into it. You had the backstory down more than I did in mine, and it was just like, and the very fact that you pulled off that accent as well. No, go on, give the people
Oh,
a
okay.
wee
So
voice of the
one thing
accent.
is, I am actually a Scotsman myself, but I've been living in England for ages, so I have this weird like tweeny accent. Um, and so my accent's really dumb. My normal one, I say like I sound like an Englishman, and then I say the word out or pound or now, and I sound like an asshole. But for some reason, my like weird in between accent means I'm quite good at doing accents of like,
You
you
do it
know,
because none of them sound like Scottish words. Poon,
no, yeah, exactly. But they
do.
sound like people. I, with an Oxfordshire accent, should say it like pound and now, but I don't. I say like pound because I'm a fucking weirdo. But it's just like my weird kind of middle of the road accent. But yeah, and I don't know. Like one of the things I always did was this like weird, creepy Norwegian accent, which is basically the same accent that everyone in the game had. Um, I don't know. What do I say? It was just like the main thing I take inspiration from is for the
Right.
accent is Floki from Vikings. The kind of crazy guy. He's like, I am Floki, and I speak like this. It's kind of this like slightly high pitched. It's really creepy, but I just love the voice. I am Floki. I just build ships, Ragnar. You know.
The great thing is, the first time you pulled that off in that game, I, now I think you recorded that game, but I don't know if I
I
ever
did, yeah.
actually watched it back or if it was up on YouTube. But the first time you saw it, if anybody was to see my face, it just kind of dropped. It's like, holy fuck! Because that's the first thing you've ever done anything like that.
Yeah, I generally with my D&D accents, it's generally, oh no, I'm a scared person. It's just my voice, but slightly higher, or
Yeah,
I am evil, blah blah blah. You know, but yeah, for this one, I was like, you know what, I'm fucking going ham because
yeah, you pulled out all the stops for that game, and it really showed because, um, well, you saw the response it got. The response to setting got. There was a ton of people interested in setting.
hmm,
There was a ton of people interested in watching the game. There was us that were playing it who loved it, and I know that there was at least one or two people that came to me after the game and went, "Oh, you're the guy that played in that game."
oh seriously,
Did it? Oh yeah,
oh
I did not tell you that. Yeah,
no, you didn't.
I ran I was drunk. I mean, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
so it must have been there must have been a Y in the day.
yeah, yeah. There was a white in the day, and it was midday. No, um, no, but it was Sam, Travis. I don't want to say the full names because
Yeah,
they don't want to be known, but certainly there was a few people. I put up a post saying I quite fancy rolling some dice, but as a player,
I saw that. And I was
yeah,
like, I was in bed and I was like, you know what? I could get up and do it, but I had an exam the next day. I was like this
yeah,
close.
well, but I ended up doing the DM, and I was improving it. Not gonna lie, but I I I'm pretty sure I specified that it was a piss take of an improv because I wasn't going to take things seriously.
Hmm.
After all, I'd been drinking for about 24 hours at that point.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not entirely sure how the players took it because players can take it both ways. And I know there was a post in the OSG about alcohol intake.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
I was waiting for my name to come up on that. I'll be honest.
I was gonna tag you in it, but I was like, almost seems mean. But obviously, I'm not worried about offending you. I'm worried about offending other people. Like our friends might be like, "Oh, that's not cool, man. Don't insinuate here's an alcohol problem."
I don't have an alcohol problem. Alcohol
No,
is a
you
problem
just
with me. Um, but yeah, well, to be honest, I've only actually ditched out in one game because I've been absolutely fucked. The rest of the games I run when I'm pushed, I can still keep track of everything and keep a game going.
hmm.
Uh, but
Gives you confidence, man.
but no, it's not just that. But those games are when I'm drinking like that, I am when I'm drinking like that. I'm playing serious games when I have a drink as well. That's a different thing entirely. And those games where I'm fucked out my face, those are jokey games. Like the games you've played in where I don't know what I've done. Yeah, the
Gob
kind of
holder. You
the
did.
got yeah. I've done some weird stuff. I throw at people, and I expect people to have a sense of humour because we're just throwing dice for 4 hours,
Mm.
and yeah, but yeah, I expect money to come up on that. But yeah, no, there was one of them from off afterwards and said, "Yeah, I didn't expect you to be that way." It's like, what do you mean? I saw you in this Valheim game.
Oh man, that's made my fucking day.
Yeah,
Oh,
I completely forgot to tell you that.
oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
that happened.
I'm okay. I'm literally famous now. I think it's, but I think yeah, we'll go right back to the point you made about the East brand. The way I fleshed them out was I took inspirations from obviously the game Skyrim was involved to some point, but it was the companions. So there's no
Yeah,
fighters guild in Skyrim. There's the companions who basically are like mercenaries for hire, and they do good things but also get paid, which was kind of the main thing for the East brand. But then I was like, that's all I started with. I was like, I just want to do a guild of monster hunters because it's an awesome, like a really really good one shot. It's just
well,
you have an end goal and you just go towards it and kill the big monster at the end. And that
it's
was the
if you, I know this is it's a very much a trope in D&D as well, but
mm,
um, the Copper Jackals and Provokers, it's similar.
yeah.
More so the Copper Jackals, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a very similar thing. We are the elite team. We're the A team.
Mm.
All we're missing is BA Baracus,
Yeah.
who isn't with us because he's too scared to get on the Griffin and fly.
Yeah, because we're too badass for
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
that's it's a tropey thing. But when it comes to especially one shots,
It's so good for one shots because you can just run an infinite number of them. You know, all you do, you just open your monster manual to plan one of these sessions, flip through it, and find a cool monster. Or the way I came up with the first one was like, all right, like I don't want this to just be you hunt and kill a monster. I want it to be, it has some wider consequences on the rest of the world. So I was like, right, well, he's coming through a fucking portal from the Night Realms to try and destroy, the world. And from then, so that was a fire giant, and then I so almost, I so almost explained what happened in the game that's coming up on Saturday in the past tense. I was like, oh yeah, and in that game you fought. But that game, the game on Saturday, is going to be potentially even more intense than the one on the first one because it's a bit kind of more or the monster. It's a bit scarier, like combat wise, and it's also a bit more flavorful and there's a bit more consequence. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
yeah. To be honest, I want to bring Calvin back for it because I really enjoyed playing that character.
Nah, he's fucking cool.
It worked well in my mind because, well, again, going back to what we talked about earlier, I didn't tell anybody he had cleric abilities. He's supposed to be Iceborn or Eastborn. I'm trying to think what the Norwegian for born is,
Don't know.
but it makes no odds anyway. He's supposed to be Stormborn, essentially. So it doesn't really fit into any mechanics wise in terms of. It's why when we're playing the game, yeah, he'll go and sit out in the cold. He doesn't mind.
Yeah, I was thinking because I saw that. Yeah, I think you just put it somewhere like
Yeah,
Iceborne or Stormborn or something in your description. I was like, oh, and I'm thinking I might make a background for that,
yeah.
like an actual.
But
Oh, I'll do it with you because you came up with the character.
mechanically wise, he has no cold resistance or anything. That's not involved in it. He's a human, a variant.
He's just
But
hard as fucking nails.
but he's a hunter, so
Hmm.
and when he gets to a certain level, he'll obviously gets extra favourable terrain and the extras.
Hmm.
Which is why I asked you during the game as well, which terrain are we in? Because straight away I picked Arctic.
Hmm.
I didn't think it would come up in the game, but come on, he's Iceborne.
Yeah, like it would. And I mean, you are in like a snowy island setting, so and spoilers, it will probably come up in the next game.
But I mean that's his default setting. That's where he's at home.
Yeah. So here's a little thing we can talk about. How do you prep a one shot normally? Because obviously, there's I do it different ways each time. But how do you normally do a one shot? How do you prep for one?
That's a good question. It depends on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
It depends what style of game I'm running. Am I running a jokey, which is, me, that's my
Forte.
yeah, it's my forte. It's my bread and butter. I will run the one shot where you drink that potion and you grow 4 tits. It is my, I don't know, it's my sense of humour. It tends to come
Yeah.
out.
Well, it's because you're sitting down for 4 hours and throwing dice, and it's just like you can either go really hard in the intense, or you can kind of have it a bit more sort of chilled.
I've never been very good at sitting as a DM and doing the intense stuff. I'm trying now, more now, but I'm more of a joker. So, but generally I will look up. Well, let's take the very first one shot I ever ran in the OSG, which was based on the film Event Horizon, which I think you might have played in.
The first one I played in with you was what was it? I have no idea.
Airships and Zombies.
Airships. No, it was not airships and zombies. It was airships and orcs riding vultures, and I was Asla,
Yeah.
and I was licking people.
That was my second one shot.
All right.
I just took the airships from the first one and basically rescanned an adventure. Most of my one shots I tend to do improv, to be honest. I don't tend to think about things because I can usually come up with something on the spot because players are good at actually defining the adventure enough that you don't need to. And they don't even know that they've done it. If you're smart about it, they don't know that they've actually preempted something.
Yeah. So I guess I'll talk about myself again because, I mean, I am prone to do so.
Yeah, you narcissist.
I do love talking about myself. So I basically do it in 3 main ways. The first way is absolutely zero prep, which is only for my specifically improv games. So I'll say in the intro, but this is an improv game. When we sit down to play, I will roll on some tables to get an adventure hook, and we'll just go from there and see what happens. And those can be really fun. The way I used to, the way I still do it, like I did it for this one, but I'm doing it less now, is I I just write out some bullet points, like the party does this, the party goes here, the party will do this, this is here, this is here, this is here, and just like list out, basic plot skeleton, and then just, you fight these monsters, here's their stats, done. And that's it, and that's just me. And then, because I improv a lot, I'll be like, I'll flesh everything out as we go. But I watched a video of Lloyd's, the RDM, where he said when he preps one-shots, he writes short stories. So I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool idea. And so for the Svalheim games, I've been doing that, kind of because when I'm talking about D&D, I cannot find myself to write full-on short stories. So I've kind of embellished it slightly. I write intro, encounter 1, encounter 2, encounter 3, and scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, encounter 1, encounter 2, encounter 3, and I will write out in prose and kind of using narrative techniques more, but write out a full page of A4 on the one shot. And I did that a bit with the first one, but with this second one I've done it a lot more, so it should be a lot more fleshed out. The second one, which is basically the main reason I'm looking forward to it so much, is because I've got awesome players, and because I spent a good long time sort of figuring it out. And I think I wrote it the day after playing the first one, because the first one was just, the players were just so great and I had so much fun. I was like, I've got to do more. But I'm definitely planning on doing a campaign in Svalheim that isn't necessarily the East brand, which I'm looking forward to as well. But I have no idea how to start that yet. But I think, so how would you say, so we talked a lot about one-shots, but I've never actually played in a campaign with you. So if you were going to plan a campaign from completely homebrew, session 1, how would you go?
Well, that depends a lot, because the very first thing it depends on is the players, and I don't plan until I get their feedback.
Yeah,
their feedback is the most crucial thing. I know I'm setting up a few campaigns at the moment, but I know there's going to be people interested in one form or another. But essentially they're going to form the world.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I know the only other campaign I run is the Out of the Abyss module, and even at that, the players are more forming the world than the module makes sense. No, they work around the world the module presents, but I'll work around that. It's difficult because there's so many variables. You have to come up with, say, pantheons of gods. You have to come up with how are different races treated in the world. You have to come up, if there's different races or classes, low magic, middle magic, fantasy, heroic kind of levels. It's a difficult one to come across, and you can't have it every single which way. Oh, you can, I suppose. It's just
yeah. I mean, if you'd already fleshed out a world, say the world where the Raven brand is. I don't actually know the name of that world. Do you have a name for that world?
I'm working on the name Valeria.
Valeria?
Valeria.
Oh, Valeria. Oh, that's actually pretty fucking sexy. I'm probably going to steal that too, just so you know. Chances are.
Oh, you can
steal everything.
You can stick it in the same world. It's just a southern continent.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome. That's awesome. But if you have this world and you just say, interest post. I want to do a campaign. What's your first step? Because do you like to kind of say, all right, um, the world's your oyster. What would you like to do? Or do you
No,
like to have a clear?
my first step is literally actually what I was going against there, is to define where races and classes fit in. For example, well, I'll take the steampunk world I'm working on.
Mm,
Um, it's a low magic setting in terms of magic's there, it's known, but like the X-Men, people protest it. They're not happy that the magic exists. It's a mutation.
mm,
Um, but that doesn't mean there isn't shops set up with some magic items in it. These things happen. Depends which part of the world you're in. My world is set in, as I remember talking to you about, is North America.
yeah.
It's a futuristic dystopia which went back in time. So the whole continent is still North America.
Yeah.
It's been split up into about 4 or 5 different countries, shall we say. So certain things they're not forbidden, but they are restricted. One of the things that I am restricting is races, because anything in that steampunk world is human. You're human variant. That's it. You're not getting to play a dwarf or a halfling or an elf or an orc. No, you're human. That's it. There's a reason for it, because it's based in the future.
Yeah.
There's no elves in our time, so why would there be elves in the future?
That does make sense. And like, I guess,
Or dragonborn or tiefling.
yeah.
It doesn't
I mean,
mean to say that other species don't exist in the world, because they do, and they'll be revealed in time. But in terms of player characters, no, you are restricted by that. Class-wise, I'm not restricting anybody. I'm actually opening it up, because I'm putting other classes out there to be used: alchemist, engineer, gunslinger. There's a more of the steampunk etiquette
yeah.
are out there to be used, but you're restricted in some ways, but you're more free in others. And I don't find anybody really. We were joking earlier on about I'm a dwarf. I'm playing it with a Scottish accent. Who really plays the race in a very roleplay way? How can you play a race in a roleplay way?
I like to do like a sexy Eastern accent for my Dragonborn, but that's it.
But that's it. You can do an accent, but how can you really roleplay their culture?
Yeah, I guess as well is if you fleshed out, like it makes sense. I think dwarves are really like the only ones you can easily roleplay their culture, because it's like beer and punching. Like,
it is a bit nonsense though. I mean, it really is. I mean, Groff I keep around as that character because I enjoy playing that kind of character.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah. But like, I think if you've fleshed out your characters, say you have your elves, which, by the way, I really, for some reason, do not like the idea of elves. They just piss me off.
I like elves. I like half elves more than anything else. I'll be honest.
But generic elves just piss me off because they're always just assholes.
Well, in the Ravenbrand world, there are elves. There is an elven island off the mainland. Now, the Ravenbrand, the Valia, the continent that Ravenbrand is based on, is mostly a human world. Other races are accepted; they're part of the course, but they're not exactly the dominant races.
Yeah.
Humans are always gonna be. If I walk in the tavern, what do I see? Well, you see 99% human. what did you expect? But there is one island right off the coast that the main city is called Ancalis. It's all elves. And the only reason they're still there is because they survived a horrible, horrible war. And that's all they have left. The humans came in and took everything else. But they've still got this one island. But they're allied with the College of Magic, which I haven't quite named yet. I need a good name for it. But they haven't quite... They're allied with the College of Magic. So they too are out with the political sphere.
I've got your name, by the way.
For
College of Magic.
Okay.
The College of Trolldom, as that is Norwegian for sorcery.
That doesn't really fit in the world, though.
it's just an awesome name. Trolldom. I am Lord of Troll.
It is.
I gotta get right on one shot.
The brothers trolled them.
Yeah. Doing your prayers. But yeah, so I think so in Svalheim, race-wise, it's the island of Svalheim is like a large is probably, honestly, it's probably about the size of Iceland, and it's all icy and shit, and cold and coniferous, and so it's mostly pretty equal between humans and dwarves. There's a lot of dwarves there. There's also a lot of Durgar, but they're not from the Underdark in my world. Durgar are from below the ice, so they live on this material plane or whatever, but they like in the south where it's just literally like Antarctica, it's like just sheet ice. They have like whole cities under the ice, and so they're just like ice dwarves rather than dark evil grey dwarves, and they're actually pretty top blokes. But yeah, I think but the thing is, all like loads and loads of races are about on Svalheim because it's a really kind of popular place for testing one's mettle as a warrior. So like the Eastbrand has loads and loads and loads of different races because everyone's like, oh man, the Eastbrand is so awesome, I'm going to go join the Eastbrand and go north and that kind of thing. And then like, fuck, it's cold up here. But yeah, I think I really, really enjoy the kind of Norse kind of setting, and I think it works well with dwarves, even though it's not that close to Norse or whatever. But it just makes sense.
Well, yeah, you can. That's the whole thing. The fantasy kind of landscapes. You choose and you borrow. I've really wanted to do a Celtic style or Pictic style campaign, but it's very difficult to get the accurate background information on anything like that. Because, well, too many different tribes for a start. But I mean, fitting it together is just a complete pain in the ass. I don't know if that link works for you or not.
Yeah, I've used it before. I made this really old map of my brothers well with it.
Did you get the actual map that came up?
It asked me to sign in.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was an actual. I can sign in though.
Yeah, I can't actually. For some reason, it won't let me download the map. So here's what I'll do. I'll actually screen share it just for a second.
Well, I'm just looking to see that.
Can you actually see that on mine?
Yeah.
So that's I was working on a kind of Norsish campaign.
Oh, that is actually really sick looking.
If I can get that to you, that's that might be a good starting point because it's got various things. I say it's got one island filled in.
Oh man, I love some of the names.
Yeah, but I've used the Scandinavian.
Yeah, I love Scandinavian sounding words. They're so much cooler than English. I've used those for Svalheim. So there's like Isodet, which means is it? I think it's like ice fields or something. I have a book with all my Norwegian words in the back, so I can like add them in to make it. Honestly, I'll show you. Is it this one? Yeah, look, I got pages of Norwegian words. Most of them are swear words that my friend Robin gave me. Yeah, ice fields. I've got Dragasettet, which is literally means dragon seat. But that's that's kind of the where the king lives, the High King. And I was kind of saying to Robin, who is Norwegian, he was like, you know what? I was like, a lot of these are just going to sound like two nouns that I've put together, like dragon seat, or, this is Iceland, ice place, ice castle. But he's like, honestly, that's what all the names are like over here anyway, apparently.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's kind of what you expect. It's what we have over here. I'm trying to think of a certain name. Oh, yeah, River Avon. Do you know what River Avon actually means?
No.
River. Avon means river. And it's river. So that's what basically Avon is named after. So it's not that unusual. And if I remember that episode of QI correctly, there's some place in Paraguay called Big River. Which I can't even say with my accent.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chew in this glass for a little while.
Yeah. But yeah, so the places like Krigerslott and Lavlandet and Fjellmarch are all just kind of meant to be Norse sounding or Norse or Norwegian. The Rigard is the name of the mountain range, which I semi-stole because in Norwegian that translates, and I believe it or not, it translates to the spine, because it's it's a spine that runs all the way down. I was like, oh, cool. Problem with that is I got the idea for the name of the spine from a book, Aragon. I don't know if you read it. It's about a kid who gets a dragon. It's like
yeah, I remember that one.
But the mountain range in that is called
they made a film about that, did they not?
Yeah, it was shite. I've read all the books and I fucking love the books, and it's a really cool idea. Like everyone has their like a secret name that no one else knows, and if you say their name, it gives you some kind of magical power over them. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, the mountains in that is called the Spine, but it's like over in one corner. So I was like, well, that's not really a spine.
Yeah. Well, you have that in there's a few fantasy novels I can think of that have the spine of the world and various other things. Where it's a mountain range, or you have Black Mountain. Oh, yeah, that must have taken you a whole 5 minutes to come up with. The problem is, most of us sit there and go, I can't call it that because I need a cool name.
Yeah.
But really, actually, in real life, we'd probably just call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Black Mountains. Aye.
Yeah, because they're mountains and they're black.
Aye, it's mountains, and they're scary, and they're a bit of a bugger to climb.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Oh, you're going to go up there and fight trolls. Oh well, enjoy the Black Mountains.
Oh no, I've got to go write one shot.
Yes.
No, that's literally how most of my one shots come back. I'll be like looking through the monster manual, be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Right, I'm making a thing about this.
Talking about how we come up with one shots, one of my favourite ways to come up with one shot is to watch films and think, how can I take that and just D&D it? Like when the first game I ran in the OSG was Event Horizon. Essentially, it was Event Horizon, and it was an improv game. I'm sure you were in it, but you see,
I wasn't. No, I was in the second.
I know Robin was in it. Dan was in it, I believe. Who the fuck else was in it? But there was a few players in it, and yeah, I did my usual take the piss kind of approach, but there was a horror feel to it as well.
Yeah.
It's probably actually my most successful one shot.
I think your Raven. I mean, I didn't see it, but your Raven Brand one was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I didn't put that up on YouTube. But I thoroughly enjoyed the players in the Raven Brand game.
I think that was me, Tony, and Justin, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So all great players, and that makes a huge difference to a game.
Yeah. The same thing with my first Valheim game. Is coming off it, I was just like, oh, that was awesome, because everyone was so into it, because the players were great, and people seemed to enjoy it, and it was so good, because I just felt like we worked together to tell the story, rather than have
That's it. It's if you can have the players involved that actually want to be involved. That's a spicy meatball.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that first game I ran the OSG, that was spur of the moment improv.
Yeah.
And I stole it from Event Horizon. And I think that's a great thing, because I've done it with a couple of other films that, off the top of my head, I can't even remember, because I've done quite a bit on the OSG. But
yeah,
and there's probably some that you've been involved in that I can't even remember what the premise came from. But they're all pretty much stolen in one way or another.
I never steal stuff, game-wise.
No, you never do.
I always just come up with stuff completely on my own accord. Oh, I can't even tell this joke lie without laughing at myself.
One of these days you're going to wake up and I'm going to be teabagging you. That's my revenge.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
You haven't seen the size of my testicles.
You're right. Yeah. You're right there. I have not seen the size of your testicles.
Just melon sitting on your eyes.
Brilliant. Yeah. So once you find out where I live, then you can.
I will find you.
Yeah.
I have a particular set of skills.
All right, Liam.
I just don't have the Irish accent.
No.
Although I can go that way sometimes, but never really watched it in the long run. No, I've got an Irish side of the family. I blame that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. That explains why I really like potatoes.
Do you really like potatoes?
I love potatoes.
How do you like your potatoes done best?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I mean, it's not. There is just an answer that is correct.
Well, no, there isn't, because...
Fries.
Go and shit yourself.
No, just
roast potatoes. Roast potatoes are probably the best potatoes, but mashed potatoes with gravy.
Yeah, I can see that.
And some onion. Oh. Or, sliced potatoes done in milk with fish.
Welcome to Potatoes, the podcast.
Potatoes, the podcast. There's only a 3-parter, because we run out of ideas after 3 episodes.
Yeah. Welcome to the Christmas special. Today we're focusing on just crisps, or chips if you're American.
Yeah.
So, what are your top 10 favorite crisps?
Ready salted Christ.
Oh, fucking boring. It's so goddamn boring.
Salt and vinegar Christs. Cheese and onion Christs.
Just fuck off.
You fucking started it.
Oh, and you fucking finished it.
Yep.
Chris.
But you know what? The settings we've got set up for next while, I think we'll do some good. I certainly there's a core of players that turn up for the games now that are, as I say, awesome players. I would give them all an individual call out, but I don't want to say their names.
You can't be sure if.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Some of the games they were recorded. I haven't actually put any recorded ones up that I've done. I know you have, but they're all absolutely awesome. And that brings it just an entire level up.
Agreed.
And there's a couple that we've just come across in the last month.
Yeah, there are a good 3 or 4 players who I've only just started playing with, and they're some of my favorite people to play with ever. Because they're just, they're the same stock of player as me. They like to have a joke. They can be serious if the game requires that, but they're just,
Yeah, and
they're just,
no one is. I know the rules better than you, which I always finds a bit, because I know the rules fairly well, but I do forget them. And
I'm just one of those people,
There was something in the game earlier on tonight. I think it was the Sentinel feat where I stopped and asked the question. I know because you know me, I play a fighter 9 times out of 10. I should know that off the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget.
Yeah, it just slips your mind,
Yep. Especially if you've been playing another system, if you've been playing another class. You haven't played a fighter. I haven't played a fighter in a long time.
Because I keep banning you from doing it in my game.
I play a fighter in a campaign game, but that was over a week ago, and the majority of that game for me as a fighter, because a fighter is one of those funny classes where the magic users are still doing stuff out of combat, and they're still the fighter's standing there like a prick.
It's just that is that's cool, man. You keep doing.
But then I told you what happened at the end of that game. The fucking turn into a raven and then just turning back into myself and drop kicking the guy in the face and landing.
Yeah.
I had to take a 5-minute break just to go, what the fuck just happened there? Because you described it that well that I didn't realise it would happen to me. And that's it's one of the most bizarrest things you can say, but it's true. You described it so well that I didn't realise it had happened. Which is great,
I know what you mean.
because my character would not have realised it happened either. So
yeah,
I mean, the rest of the players were, that's Brynjolf's time to shine. Well, help me out here. Ow! Stop hitting me with arrows with your natural ones.
Yeah.
But fighters are funny characters. Everybody looks down on the fighter until they do shit tons of damage.
Yeah.
And then they're everybody's best friend. Wizards are a funny one as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bards are usually the yeah. Well, we'll put up with them because they get us out of social situations.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what would you say is your go-to class? Is it just fighter?
Yeah, my go-to is always a fighter. What about yours?
I mean, I think I don't know. I really like. I mean, my favorite class is probably rogue or a druid. Top three is rogue, druid, warlock. I just really enjoy playing them. My favorite's probably a rogue. I play rogues more than most other classes, I'd say. But then again, I play every class. I think the only one I haven't played in 5 years is a sorcerer.
Rogues are fun. I've never played a druid though.
Druids are good.
Um,
Just I love the idea of being able to turn into a fuck off wolf and just fucking people off.
I'm going to drop off for 2 seconds here.
All right,
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
sure thing. Yeah. So, um, in my last couple of games, I banned Chex from playing a fighter, and that's because in almost every game I've run for him, he's played a fighter, and that's not because he only plays fighters or whatever, but it's because everyone else always plays like they go in and they're like, I want to be a wizard, I want to be a rogue, I want to be and he's like, well, I guess I'll be the fighter. But I literally in the interest post with the event, I was like, Chex Chekhov is not allowed to be a fighter. So he played a rogue instead, which I think is his like second favorite. He's I'm spilling all his secrets, but he's not a big fan of being a magic user because it, he enjoys just the general style of melee or range or whatever. Magic just doesn't really float his boat as much as a player. But I don't know why I'm explaining this, but it's just because he's gone away. Yeah. So while we're talking here, I'm just on Incarnate, which is like the map making software, and I'm just like remapping out Svalheim. But mine doesn't look as good as Chex's at the moment, so I'm gonna have to outdo him with his own.
I heard talking right until I came back there.
Yeah, I was just chatting shit really. I was talking about the fact that I made you not play a fighter.
Well, it worked out for me.
But I said, yeah, no, it was good. And I was also saying that I'm just on like Incarnate, just remapping out Svalheim. Literally drawn this map about 7 times, and it always looks exactly the same. But
oh, you must be doing something right then.
yeah, I think I've just come up with like a really, really awesome original world. I come across as such an asshole. I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm deserved royalties.
Oh yeah, all this money I'm making off fucking Svalheim.
There's at least I don't know, maybe a bacon roll.
You know what? If I ever meet you in person, I will fucking buy you a bacon roll / make you a bacon roll.
You know what? That promise will be kept because I will not forget that because I know there's someone that still offers or still owes me a square roll, a square sausage and a roll from about eight years ago.
A Lorne
sausage, and I haven't forgotten. It's not even a Lorne sausage; it's a steak sausage, not a Lorne.
Oh,
it's a steak one.
Oh yeah,
it's where I come from. We eat steak square sausages.
That's just who you are, is it?
Fuck aye. Who's coming across as the arsehole now?
Yeah, I think I have a couple guesses here.
Yep, certainly me.
Agreed.
I've got my name on the OSG. I know who I am. Two shits not given.
No.
But here's the thing: when you write a one shot, what's in front of you? What is your like? I presume, right? This is my presumption. You have your computer screen in front of you. You have your keyboard. You have your mouse. You have your headset on your head. You're ready to go.
I don't have my headset on my head.
What's that on your head at the moment?
I'm just being an asshole. Sorry, carry on.
The asshole crown has been.
This is my asshole crown.
Yeah. What is in front of you on your desk? In terms of
my wallet.
No, you fuckwit. I don't need the whole inventory of your desk. Otherwise, I'd be numbering the bottle caps.
This empty water bottle with a label. This one without. This map.
Rob.
Seamus.
Rob.
Yes.
Yes, the skeleton with no legs.
He has feet, but they're just stuck to the bottom because his legs fell off and they're somewhere in my room.
Got no legs, don't come crawling to me. As a great Lawnmower Death song. Rob.
Yes.
That's the bottle caps I removed off my desk last week.
Wow. You need an intervention, Chex.
It's a brewery. But seriously, what is generally sent? Like, for example, I have my I'll just put it on front. This is in my dice box, where most, not all, but most of them, not even most of them, I've got more dice lying elsewhere. But my important dice are, yeah. So I've got a cigar box with this stuff in it. I have a packet of note cards for player and DM.
Mm-hmm.
For writing stuff down.
I have note cards everywhere. Oh yeah, I got some in a box here that have all my notes for Lawn. But I stood on the box by accident and destroyed it. So I have this box of broken it. But yeah, I have all my work for my law unit in there. Fuck that unit. It was shite.
Shite.
It was a proper full on. Oh man. Anyway, carry on because I want to see where this is going because there must be a point here somewhere and I can't wait to see it.
No, the point is you were talking about earlier on is what do you do to prep a one shot and various other things. What I'm asking is when you're actually running a game, do you have sit in front of you? Say you have one of these note cards sit in front of you. What do you have sitting written on that note card that preps you for that one shot? For example, for me, I'll have two note cards in front of me. One side will have random names. Because
I should do that, but I never do.
Well, players are always... I'm not going to tell the entire story. Thank fuck, because it's a bonus story, but one of the games I ran not long ago, they came across a halfling named Steve. I didn't have the note card with me at that time.
I just use names of characters I've made because you can always remember your character name.
They get really attached to that NPC. That NPC wasn't supposed to be there. They went looking for it, and you had to put it there. So I do tend to keep a few random names. I'll also keep a few random encounters as well. But
Oh, jeez, you're way more prepared than
I
I am.
will have
I never do any of that shit.
about 3, 4, maybe 5 at most bulletin points of this is where you start, this is where you should end up, this is where you have to end up, this is maybe what happens afterwards, and this is your conclusion, kind of thing. And that's
Oh man, you're more prepared than I am.
yeah. But
I mean, when I do my like note card thing, if I'm doing the writing everything out, then I'll have more than that usually. But yeah, I think like I don't do the names, which is dumb, and I should. I have a massive document of names, but I just go like, oh, this is, and then I just name a character. Like Asla has been in about 15 of my games because it's just the name that's always in the back of my head. It's like, oh, you guys have to escort Asla because he is there.
well, you say that that game I improv the other night, I put my bard Bontaval, and he was the guy they had to capture
Awesome.
because he'd been doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing, which is usually typical of a bard, isn't it?
And it's usually typical of a guy you have to like capture and kill.
Mm-hmm. They didn't get that far though because everybody had to kind of leave, but before the game finished. But if they'd stayed maybe half an hour longer, they would have got a good review. But yeah, it happens. Same as what happened earlier on.
Yeah. No, but in front of me, if I'm just doing like a simple method, is like 4 or 5 bullet points. This is what, go here, do this, blah, blah, blah. You start here, end here. And then monster stats, encounter notes, and then that's it. But I'm enjoying a lot more my more prepared method. Sometimes a map. For this one, I did a map for the one we just had, which is here. And then I'll just write, this is all like initiative here. This is monster HP. This is just like a basic map of the dungeon. The fungeon.
I can tell you're an accountant for the fact that that's well laid out.
Yeah. Oh, don't reveal my boring secrets. Yeah. Well, I draw the little initiative.
Hey
boxes.
guys, I like to do math.
God, don't get me started.
2 plus 2 is 4.
You do an accounting degree and you don't really think about it. But then you look at how accountants are displayed in popular culture, and it's fucking hilarious. Like Ghostbusters, the guy who's like, are you the keymaster guy? Really thick glasses. He's an accountant. I think so. But he's an accountant, and he throws a party for all his clients because he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, it's Rick Moranis. It's Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Right. A little bit of knowledge.
He throws a party for his clients, and like someone comes, he's like, "Oh, they asked me to do this is Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 and they asked me to do their tax return because they were doing some shady thing." And everyone's like, "Yeah, whatever. We're just here for the food."
See that whole that's like a 10-minute scene in the film. See that whole scene? That's wholly improvised.
Is it?
Yeah, Rick Moranis improvised that scene in the film.
That's so good.
Because Rick Moranis is just fucking awesome. If you've ever seen Little Pet Shop of Horrors, if you've never seen it, what the fuck are you doing watching this pish?
I think
you need to go and watch Little Pet Shop of Horrors because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I love the guy. But then, like, even things like, what was it, Daredevil, the TV show? In that, there's an accountant, and all he does is cry that his son's, become evil. The only thing that's consistent is that they're all fucking rich, so...
Yeah. Well, just remember me when that happens, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just chuck some of those checks my way. I'll be I'm not hard to keep. I just need some alcohol and some weed. I'm perfectly happy.
Alcohol, weed, and dice.
Yeah, that really should be the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the best thing I could, the best idea I've ever had is like, Loot Crate, where you get like a monthly box of useless shite.
I know of it. I've never.
Yeah, like you get a box every month, and it's like you get like a couple toys and a T-shirt in it. Imagine one of those for like RPG, where you get like a new set of dice every month, and like a RPG T-shirt that's a pun or whatever, and it's like a $5 a month, or whatever. Wouldn't that be fucking sick? You get like a new different.
I think that would actually be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Copyright.
Yeah.
How do we get copyright on that? I think we need to mail something to ourselves. I think that's how it works in this country. You just need to mail that idea to yourself and just don't open the envelope, and then you're okay.
Yeah. But actually, honestly, like, we could. That would actually be like, I would pay for that. It would be fucking sick, wouldn't it?
I would pay for that.
And you just get like a new set of dice. You get. I would say you probably get like a new set of dice, a T-shirt, and some little, like, maybe a miniature or something, if you're into miniatures or something like that, but even just keep it simple, because the thing with Loot Crate is you spend like 15 quid a week or a month, and you get like loads of useless shit that you'll never use.
There's an interesting question. There's a very interesting question. We're sitting doing this podcast. We're members of the OSG. Anybody doesn't know what the OSG is, the description is probably in the link. The link,
way around, mate.
Yeah, it's in the description.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But certainly, theatre of the mind is the biggest factor in the OSG. I would say and there are various platforms used in the OSG. It's not exclusively Google Hangouts, which is what we tend to do it on. To what actually I prefer these days.
Because of XSplit.
It's not because of XSplit. Nothing to do with XSplit. Before that, I like the idea of just using your imagination.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, the DM is going to be less of a asshole, for want of a better word. Can my dwarf move up to 20? No.
Yeah. If I play with like maps and minis, I won't use a grid. I like to go grid this and just say, you can move here.
I remember doing it in the Ravenbrand game. Justin says, "I'm a dwarf. Can I move?" Yeah, you can move up and help him. It was actually over his movement speed. I don't fucking care. Look, how? Look, you're standing within 5 foot of him. You've got a sword. You can hit him. Of course you can. That sword's more than... Come on.
Exactly.
It's... I want my players to feel like...
they're part of a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I find that more difficult to do with a grid. And I run the Abyss campaign on a grid system. It's... The last 4 sessions I've done off the grid. They haven't noticed. I swear to God. We've been sitting in front of the grid, but most of it has been roleplay.
Yeah.
They haven't really noticed.
I'm with you on this one. I prefer no maps or minis, just chatting and using theatre of the mind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, as I said to Justin that night, and I remember the exact words I said to him was, "You're in battle fervour. You're ready to rumble. You're ready to go. Yeah, you can reach him."
Exactly. Yeah.
What's an extra 5 foot?
Yeah.
It just means that he can hit you as well.
But it furthers the story, you know. Like,
Well,
if the story and the game and the player's fun is going to be hampered by the fact that, you know, his movement's only 30 feet instead of 35, it's like, well, what the fuck is the point?
everybody has a preference, though, and I appreciate that. I'm not going to take anything away from anyone who likes to use the grid. But at least the OSG is open to the different systems. You have Roll20, you have Tabletop Simulator, which is what I use for the grid system on Out of the Abyss campaign. They're all fairly newer players, although from what I understand, although they haven't told me, and I think they're kind of afraid to tell me that they've started playing a different campaign out with that game, which is fine by me. I'm happy with that. They're playing, so I don't care. But I mean, I enjoy that group because they're a fun group to DM for. As I said, going back to the other topic of conversation, the chuckle fuck. As I like to call it, a clusterfuck of chuckle fucks. They're that kind of way where they can make a joke and I can bring it into the scenario. But in terms of situation, they're in the middle of having a chase scene when we called it last session. You remember? Fuck, I can't remember who did it now. I want to say the Three Stooges. You know, you get the guy carrying the board.
Yeah.
The wooden, boom. You know, hit somebody mistakenly, turns around, doesn't realise he's done it, brings the board back around, hits him again. Yeah, well, a guy fumbled during the chase, so that happened to him. And then, obviously, it was
Yeah.
You know, all that carry on happened, and they love that kind of stuff, so why not include it? I mean, they're all playing really weird characters, so why not include it? But what was my point again? Rob, you're supposed to be keeping me on point here.
Sorry, mate.
I've
just realised that I have actually made it on YouTube officially because I've got my first hater.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at the fucking comments on the Experiment Zero, the game I just ran.
Really?
With it 6 views and 1 dislike. There's a guy who said his name is Spanish. It says, "Oh hi merda." Like MER.
That's shit.
And then underneath it just says nerd. Fucking.
Okay, this is shit, nerd.
I'm gonna like it. Oh my god.
Remind me of that tomorrow because I'll go back to that and I'll come up with something good. I could probably come up with something good right now, but
I think I'm officially famous. I've got 2 subscribers in the last 2 days. I'm on fucking 8 now, so you know, that's big news.
One of them's me.
Yeah, one of them's you, but you're from a little while ago. I got 2 more.
Oh, so I don't count? Fuck you.
No.
Fuck you, pal.
No, I got 2 in the last 2 days. You subscribed like a month ago.
Okay, here's a loaded question for you. I don't know if you can actually give me an answer to this.
I'll try my best.
What happened with the playtest?
The playtest?
You know what I'm talking about? Tim?
Tam?
Tim.
Tim?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, the playtester group.
Yeah, did you get a game? Did you not? I don't know.
Oh, I'm in it. And they put out like Google Docs, like, hey guys, what do you think of this? And then we go on and comment them, and they haven't run any games on it yet, but
Right. I don't even know if we're supposed to be talking about this at all, to be
no,
perfectly honest.
I'm not supposed to say,
Yeah, I know.
an agreement. I'm not, at liberty to say anything that's been discussed, but I'm just saying, like, they run stuff by us, and we're like, oh yeah, that's awesome, and it is awesome.
I wouldn't ask.
No, I know. I don't even.
You know, I haven't. You know, I know why you're on that, and I haven't asked you anything. I saw it come up, and I thought about signing up. And I thought, nah, you know what? He's going to be inundated with stuff.
It hasn't. It's been all right. It hasn't been. There's more posts in the OSG and stuff. It's good stuff. I enjoy it.
What I need to do, I need to get in touch with him, and I need to get him to run a Megadeth themed one shot. Much like, no, remember, I can't remember what he did, but it was like we'll just run the Metallica.
Yeah.
So we did a Megadeth one just to even things out.
Mm.
And in response to the comment, I was like, you know what? We need this. We fucking need this, man.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I've played with Tim.
I'm going to get back to him and just going to say.
Yeah, you should. I've played with him once before, which is in a Dragon Slayer game, which unfortunately never got to continue, but we were both players. And this is actually related to a thing I want to talk about, is complimenting other people at the table on stuff they do and whatever. So like I was playing a warlock who was a dragonborn, and I wanted to cast Misty Step, and the way I described it was like he was breathing smoke out of his nose that enveloped him, and then he did a Misty Step. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But Tim typed a thing saying like, that is the coolest way to describe Misty Step I've ever heard. And that made me feel so fucking good. I was like, oh, that's awesome, because someone liked that. And that made me so much more into the game. And I've been thinking about this recently, is like, if someone does something cool, acknowledge it, because it makes them want to do more cool stuff.
Yeah,
it will just improve the game.
It's a huge thing. It's not so much an ego boost. It's just an acknowledgement that you're contributing.
Yeah,
and I think that's why people are wary of doing it, because it feels like you're ego boosting, and that means they're going to take over the table.
Mm.
And that's usually not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible to happen, but
it is possible to happen.
Yeah,
it is, and I think that's why it's weird. I think that's why most people wait until after the game is over, and then you turn around and say, "That was fucking awesome."
Yeah. But I mean, if I'm playing and someone does something that is actually fucking awesome, I'll probably say it, just because I know that it makes me feel, fucking swell.
The game you played last night with Dan, I watched that game earlier on. Now the other Dan, no, not Dan, Sam, sorry. His story about the cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. And then you did it as well. You did this whole, I'm having a conversation with someone that I'm not really having, and that was like, you know what? That's one of the coolest ways I've ever heard someone having a berserker moment of, I'm actually pissed off at someone else, but I'm taking it out on you. And
yeah,
you fucking brought it last night, and that was pretty fucking awesome.
It was a fucking fun game.
I left a comment on Dan's page. I'm saying that this is. I'm really sorry I missed out on this game, because everybody was awesome.
Yeah.
Every player at that table did amazingly last night, and the story, it was just a great to watch. It was just like, oh, this is great, man. everybody really brought it, and you and your fucking Norwegian accent.
I can't help myself, man. I was like, well, I'm playing a Norwegianish guy. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
it's just rolls off the tongue for me. I just like it.
it was a really fun game to watch. But when that kind of stuff happens, then yeah, it's difficult to congratulate people at the time.
Yeah.
It's more so because you want to vocalize it rather than put it in the chat.
But then you're worried that could, kill the game if you're,
Yeah, well, yeah,
stopping the action to say, "Oh, that was cool, man."
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what the chat's there for. But not a lot of people really use the chat. I've found anyway. I found I'm one of the very. There's, it's one of those weird things. I use the chat a lot, but a lot of people don't. I think it's there for a reason.
Yeah, it's just preference again. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a useful tool. I like to use it.
my out of game stuff goes in the chat.
Yeah.
You know me, you know my sense.
It means you can say it without having to interrupt the.
Yeah. You know my sense of humor. My sense of humor is I will say stuff.
Yeah.
In a serious game, it goes in chat. I'm not taking away from the game then.
Exactly.
Unless the DM sees it and it breaks them. In which case, it does happen occasionally, and you know.
Yeah, you've done that to me a couple of times, so I'll just be like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's not the end of the world.
Huh.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I think you got to find like the middle ground, and you got to read the table again. You got to know,
Yeah.
How are my players going to react, or how are the other players going to react if I compliment them? Are they going to take over, or are they going to? Is it going to spur them on?
We don't often get the chance to play together, as in.
Nah, you're right.
Players. It's usually one of us is DMing. Nick DM'd for us not too long ago, and we were both players. That was weird.
It was a wee bit. I didn't think about it at the time, but it was a bit weird. Was that the first time that we've ever?
No, we've played together before.
Who DM'd for us?
Probably Nick. But I'm not entirely sure. I think Dan actually DM'd for us before.
See, I think that was my first time with Dan as my DM, and I think that was the first time as Nick as my DM. I feel like, I don't know, I'm probably wrong.
Maybe, but I know I've played with you at least once as a player before. But again, it's I'm not as strong as I am as a DM, and that sounds a bit weird, but it's not. I'm not the. I'm very fucking quiet when I'm a player.
I tend to do that a bit as well sometimes, but I mean it depends on the character. For me,
I play quiet characters, so I've actually developed a bit of a reputation for it, playing the character that's very quiet, but when he does speak, says something of importance. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bit. I don't mean to do it, and that's the thing.
Yeah, I know what it is as well, because I think it's the same for me as a DM. You know that when you speak, it's it's benefiting everyone. But as a player, you're kind of like, oh, I don't want to steal the other player's spotlight. I don't want to be the guy who talks all the time because I hate it. Because you can see that when you're DMing, when players do that, it's annoying. So you just like try and speak, or at least this is for me. I'm assuming It could be.
There's certainly a bit of that. I mean, I don't want to take over anybody's spotlight.
Yeah.
It's a really weird scenario, but it's bound to come up if you do both sides of the table.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's about 5 a.m. our time, and that's just over 2.25 hours. So we'll probably end it here, because anyone listening beyond this is probably not going to get much of interest. Because
who the fuck's listening more than the first half hour at most?
We have a viewer. Hello, viewer. We can see you.
It's probably you.
Yeah, probably on my phone or something. Yeah, but
Hello,
thanks for what.
This is my cat.
Oh no, he's gone.
Oh shit! I've been called out. Bye.
Oh, he's back. Yes, he's back. Back again. The viewers. Yeah. So, thank you for watching / listening. This has been Crits and Shits.
The first episode of
the pilot episode.
The
inaugural semi-weekly, whenever we play together, game podcast. Oh, he's gone again. Podcast.
Fuck him. I don't know. Well,
stop playing with our emotions, guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, there's been.
I love you. Come home.
He's back again. Every time I try and fucking sign off. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.